ChatGPT said, "In the cold dark of deep space, the warship Titan's Wrath drifted silently among the stars. It was a giant, a floating fortress of black steel, bristling with weapons that could tear moons apart. Humanity's first and only Titan-class warship, it was the pride of the Earth Defense Fleet. Its mission was simple: guard the frontier, keep humanity safe, and never show weakness." The crew had grown used to long, empty patrols. Space beyond the colonies was quiet, too quiet. But that silence broke one day without warning. The radar officer, Ensign Lyra Chen, stared at her console. A strange signal blinked in the corner of her screen. It was not a distress call. Not human. The frequency was wrong. The pulse had a rhythm, steady, deliberate, intelligent. "Captain," she said, her voice shaking a little. "We're getting something. Unknown origin." Captain Roran Hale turned in his chair. A man carved from old wars. His face was calm, but his eyes narrowed. "Show me." The bridge lights dimmed as the signal appeared on the main holo display. It was a geometric pattern, triangular bursts of energy in a repeating sequence. Then something impossible, a voice, faint but clear, echoing through the static. "Observers!" Approach, peaceful. "Contact!" The bridge went dead silent. No alien had ever spoken to humanity before. There had been rumors, strange shapes near the edge of known space, missing scout ships, but no proof. Now that proof was calling them directly. Hale stood. "Send coordinates of the signal. Helm, set course. Let's meet our guests." The Titan's Wrath moved through the void, its engines burning blue fire. Hours passed. As they neared the signal's source, the void came alive. A massive structure appeared out of the dark, silver and gold, shaped like an enormous ring spinning slowly in the emptiness. Energy flowed through its edges like lightning. "By the stars," Lyra whispered. "It's a gateway." The ship's scanners confirmed it, artificial, ancient, and powerful beyond human technology. And inside the ring, movement. "Captain," said Lieutenant Oren Vale from sensors, "something's coming through." A ripple of light, and then it appeared. A sleek, curved vessel, shimmering like glass. No thrusters, no weapons that human eyes could see. Just a quiet, graceful shape. "Contact in visual range," Oren said. Everyone on the bridge held their breath. The alien ship pulsed with blue light. Symbols appeared on its hull, moving like living things. Then a transmission. "Human vessel, we greet you." The translator struggled for a moment, then stabilized. The voice that came through was soft, melodic, almost human. "This is the consulate of the Varex Union. We come in peace. We have watched your species for some time. The council has decided. Your kind is ready." Captain Hale exchanged glances with his officers. "Ready for what?" he asked quietly. The voice replied, "To join the greater order of civilizations." The bridge filled with whispers. Humanity had dreamed of this. Proof that they were not alone, that the stars held others like them. But Hale's instincts told him something was wrong. "Communications," he said. "Request visual link." Moments later, the holoscreen shimmered to life. A figure appeared, tall, silver-skinned, with eyes that glowed like molten metal. It smiled. "We have long awaited this meeting, but we must warn you. Others are coming. They will not offer peace." Before anyone could respond, the alien ship flickered, and in an instant, dozens of other signals appeared on the radar. Ships, huge ones, sliding out of the gate. But these were different. Their energy readings spiked red, violent. "Captain," Oren shouted, "multiple hostiles! Power signatures rising! Shields up!" Hale ordered. "Arm all batteries!" The quiet first contact had turned into a battlefield. Beams of white energy flashed across the void. The alien ships moved like sharks, circling. The Titan's Wrath fired its railguns, tearing through two of them. But there were too many. "Who are they?" Lyra cried. The silver figure on the screen looked grim. "The Karth Dominion. They followed us. They believe humanity must be destroyed before it awakens." Explosions rocked the Titan's Wrath. The bridge flickered with alarms. "Return fire!" Hale barked. "Target engines, focus all plasma cannons." The ship's massive cannons roared, lighting the darkness. Two enemy vessels vanished in bursts of light. The Titan was holding, but barely. "Sir, the main shield is at 60%, Lyra reported. "Keep it steady." Then something unexpected happened. The Varex ship moved between the Titan's wrath and the attackers. Its hull glowed with blinding light, releasing a pulse that knocked the enemy ships backward. "Human captain," said the Varex, voice strained. "You fight well, perhaps. We were right about you." Then the signal cut. The alien vessel's light faded. It had sacrificed its power to save them. Captain Hale clenched his fists. "All batteries, fire everything we've got." The Titan's weapons unleashed fury. The Dominion ships broke formation, retreating toward the gate, and then silence again. The crew sat stunned. Smoke drifted through the bridge. They had survived first contact, but barely. Hale stared at the fading energy of the alien gate. "Send a message to Earth Command," he said quietly. "We're not alone, and the galaxy is at war." Far away, deep in that golden ring, unseen eyes watched them. The Council had indeed taken notice of humanity, but not all in the stars agreed that mankind should rise. And the Titan's wrath, humanity's mightiest ship, had just fired the first shot in a conflict that would shake the galaxy. The wreckage floated silently in the cold dark. Pieces of alien metal and human debris drifted together, glowing faintly in the light of distant stars. The Titan's wrath hung motionless, her once bright armor scarred and blackened. The great ship had survived, but only just. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and tension. Engineers worked frantically to seal ruptures and restore power. Sparks leapt from exposed wires. The echo of alarms pulsed through the corridors. Captain Hale stood on the bridge, staring at the empty void where the alien gate had once glowed. His jaw was tight, eyes hollow. "Status," he said softly. "Shields are gone," Lieutenant Oren reported, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Hull integrity at 40%. We've got wounded on every deck. Engines still offline." Lyra Chen looked up from her console. "No more enemy contacts, sir. But that gate, it's closing." On the main screen, the golden ring flickered and dimmed, folding in on itself until only darkness remained. The bridge crew stared in silence. "Sir," Lyra whispered, "the Varex ship, it's gone." Captain Hale exhaled slowly. He had known it, but hearing it made it real. The mysterious aliens who had offered peace had given their lives to save them. "Get me a channel to Earth Command," he said. Lyra hesitated. "Sir, long-range comms are jammed. Whatever that battle did, it burned out half our array." Hale frowned. "So we're alone?" The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Being stranded in deep space, light years from the nearest colony with no working comms, meant one thing: survival depended only on them. Chief Engineer Corrin came to the bridge, his uniform stained with grease and ash. "Engines will take at least 12 hours to bring back online, Captain," he said. "We're running on backup power. We can breathe, but we can't fight." Hale nodded. "Do what you can. I want this ship moving again before anything else out there decides to finish the job." Hours passed. The crew worked in silence, each person driven by fear and duty. Lyra sat at her station, replaying the alien message in her mind. "The Council has decided. Your kind is ready." What had that meant? Ready for war? For peace? Or something else entirely? Then a faint sound cut through the silence, a soft, repeating ping. Not human, but familiar. Lyra froze. "Captain," she said carefully, "I'm picking up something." A low-frequency signal. Same origin as the first alien transmission, but weaker. Hale turned. "Can you locate it?" "Maybe. It's coming from debris field Sector 12. Launch a probe," he ordered. Minutes later, a small drone slipped into the void, its cameras sending images back to the bridge. Twisted wreckage drifted past, remnants of the alien ships destroyed in the battle. Then something moved. "Stop the feed," Lyra said. She zoomed in. There, half buried in floating debris, was a metallic pod. It was small, maybe 3 meters long, and pulsing with faint blue light. "It's alive," Oren murmured. Hale leaned forward. "Tractor it in." The hangar filled with bright light as the pod was brought aboard. Armed security stood by while engineers in sealed suits approached. The metal surface was warm, almost organic. A soft hum vibrated through the floor. "Open it," Hale said. They cut through the outer shell carefully. Steam hissed out and the pod split open like a flower. Inside lay a humanoid figure, tall, slender, with silver skin and faint blue veins glowing beneath. The same species as the Varex envoy. The alien's chest rose weakly. "It was still alive! Get medical down here now!" As the medics rushed the alien to the infirmary, Hale followed, his mind racing. Why had this one survived? Was it friend or spy? Hours later, the alien opened its eyes. They shone like liquid mercury. When it spoke, its voice was faint but clear. "Human captain. The council must know. The Karth will return." Hale leaned closer. "What is the council? Why did they target us?" The alien struggled to breathe. "The council is the balance. They guide the civilizations of the stars. But the Karth they seek to rule. They believe your species is dangerous. They seek to rule. They believe your species is dangerous." "Dangerous?" Hale frowned. "We barely survived." The alien's lips curved faintly. "That is why they fear you." Before Hale could ask more, alarms blared across the ship. Oren's voice came through the comm. "Captain, we've got movement. Something's coming out of warp. Multiple contacts." Hale sprinted to the bridge. On the main display, red blips filled the radar. Not Karth ships this time, smaller, different signatures. "Identify," he said sharply. Lyra ran a quick scan. Unknown class, but definitely not human. "They're broadcasting a signal. Translation coming through now." The speakers crackled. Then a deep voice echoed, "This is the Valari Protectorate. Human warship, you are in restricted space. Power down weapons and prepare for boarding." The bridge fell silent. Hale's eyes hardened. "They show up right after a battle that nearly killed us. And now they want to board us." Oren's hand hovered over the defense controls. "Orders, sir?" The captain stood tall, his voice calm but firm. "We don't know if they're enemies or allies. But this ship doesn't surrender." He turned to Lyra. "Patch them through. Let's see what they want." The screen flickered, revealing a new alien face. Reptilian, armored, eyes sharp like blades. "You humans have made quite the noise," it said. "The council will not be pleased." Hale crossed his arms. "Then maybe the council should come talk to us themselves." The alien tilted its head. "Perhaps they will. But first you will answer for what you've done." And before anyone could react, the alien fleet surrounded the Titan's wrath, weapons glowing. For the second time in a single day, humanity's mightiest ship stood face to face with powers beyond imagination. And deep inside the infirmary, the injured Varex alien whispered a final warning before falling unconscious. "They are not your enemies, but they will decide your fate." Outside, the stars burned cold, watching silently as another chapter of First Contact began. The Titan's wrath was surrounded. A dozen sleek alien ships glowed in the darkness, forming a perfect circle around the wounded warship. Their hulls shimmered like black glass, reflecting the faint starlight. The silence of deep space pressed down, heavy and tense. Inside the bridge, the crew waited for Captain Hale's next move. Every console flickered with red warnings. The ship was still damaged from the last battle. Their shields were barely at 30%. Weapons at half power. "Captain," Lieutenant Oren said quietly, "if they open fire, we won't last long." "I know," Hale replied, eyes fixed on the view screen. His voice was calm, but his mind raced. The Valari Protectorate. The name meant nothing to human records. Were they part of this mysterious council? Allies of the Varex? Or just scavengers drawn by the battle's wreckage? "Open a channel," Hale said. Lyra nodded. "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Roran Hale of the human warship Titan's Wrath," he said. "We were attacked by a hostile species called the Karth Dominion. We mean no harm. We're only defending ourselves." The alien commander appeared again, his reptilian eyes unblinking. "Defending yourselves? You bring warships into forbidden sectors, destroy vessels of the Dominion, and now you speak of peace. You do not understand where you are, human." Hale kept his voice steady. "Then explain it to me." The alien's gaze shifted, cold and slow. "This region belongs to the Council's neutral zone. No civilization is permitted to engage in combat here. You have broken sacred law." Hale frowned. "We didn't choose this fight. The Dominion attacked us." The alien made a low sound, halfway between a growl and a laugh. The Dominion attacks everyone, yet you survived. That makes you dangerous. The bridge went silent. Hale understood the unspoken threat. Dangerous meant powerful, and things that were powerful were often destroyed before they grew stronger. "We are taking you into custody," the alien said. "Do not resist." Orin's hands tightened on his console. "Sir, should we charge weapons?" Hale hesitated. If they resisted, they would die. But if they surrendered, humanity's only Titan-class ship might be lost forever. Before he could answer, the injured Varex in the infirmary stirred. His weak voice came over the internal comms, patched through by the med team. "Captain Hale, do not fight them. The Valari serve the Council. They will test you. If you pass, you live." Hale's eyes narrowed. "Test us?" But before he could ask more, the Valari commander's ship sent a beam of green light across the Titan's wrath. Every system on the human ship froze. Engines, weapons, even life support flickered. The lights dimmed to black. "Captain!" Lyra shouted. "They're disabling us!" Hale stood still, jaw tight. "Hold position. No one fire. Let's see what they plan to do." The bridge filled with the hum of the alien beam. Then everything stopped. Silence. Moments later, a bright portal of blue energy opened just ahead of the Titan's wrath. Through it shimmered a vast structure, a colossal station orbiting a dying star. Metallic spires stretched out in every direction, forming a web of light. "The Council Citadel," whispered the Varex over the comm, barely conscious. "The heart of the galaxy's order?" The Valari ships began to pull the Titan's wrath toward the portal. Hale could feel the ship trembling as it passed through the shimmering field. When the light faded, they found themselves in a new place, inside a system filled with alien craft of every shape and size. Great cities floated in orbit, glowing with energy. It was more civilization than humanity had ever imagined. "Sir," Lyra breathed, "there must be thousands of ships here." The Valari commander reappeared on screen. "You will dock with the Citadel. The Council will decide your fate." Hale nodded slowly. "Understood." He turned to his crew. "Everyone stay alert. No sudden moves. We don't know what kind of place this is." The Titan's wrath moved closer to the Citadel. The closer they got, the more enormous it seemed, larger than any human city, larger even than Earth's moon. Towering structures of crystal and metal spun in perfect harmony, powered by some force beyond human science. When they docked, a team of tall, glowing beings awaited them, each wearing shimmering robes that seemed to flow like liquid. "Captain Hale," one of them said, their voice smooth and echoing. "Welcome to the Council of Worlds. You stand accused of violating interstellar law." Hale met their gaze. "We didn't choose this. We were attacked." "Intent is irrelevant," the being replied. "What matters is what your species represents. The Karth feared you. The Varex protected you, and the Valari brought you here. Humanity has drawn the attention of powers older than your sun." Another counselor stepped forward. "You will answer our questions, human. Truthfully, or your world will face judgment." The room grew cold. Hale felt the weight of 1,000 civilizations watching. He took a breath and stood tall. "Then ask your questions." The first counselor's eyes glowed brighter. "What drives your kind to build weapons such as this Titan's wrath? Do you seek conquest?" Hale's voice was steady. "We build to protect. To survive. Because the universe is not kind." The alien paused, as if studying him, then said, "Perhaps. Or perhaps you build because you are afraid. Fear can destroy galaxies." Another counselor leaned closer. "You have two paths, human. Prove your species can control its power, or face extinction before it spreads." The chamber echoed with silence. Hale met their glowing eyes without flinching. "Then I'll prove it. Humanity won't bow. We'll earn our place." For a long moment, none of the counselors spoke. Then the leader nodded slowly. "Very well. The trial of contact begins." As they led him away, Hale's mind raced. The Titan's wrath was damaged, surrounded, and far from home. But somehow, he knew this was only the beginning, because somewhere beyond the Citadel, the Karth Dominion was already preparing for war, and humanity's first contact with the stars was turning into something much bigger. something that would decide the fate of every world. Captain Hale stood in the council chamber, surrounded by beings of light and shadow. Their glowing eyes watched him without emotion, their voices echoing through his mind instead of his ears. The air hummed with unseen energy. Humanity had never been in a place like this, where a single word could decide the fate of an entire species. "The trial of contact begins," said the lead counselor, its form shifting like mist. "Your ship, your crew, and your species will be tested for balance of reason, courage, and restraint." Hale straightened his uniform. "And if we fail?" The counselor's eyes flared brighter. "Then your world will be isolated forever. Your species will vanish from the stars." Silence filled the chamber. The Velari commander, who had escorted the Titan's wrath here, stood to one side, his scaled face unreadable. Beside him, the surviving Varex alien lay weak in a hovering medical capsule, glowing faintly with pale blue light. "The test will begin immediately," the counselor continued. "You will return to your vessel. What happens next will decide humanity's fate." Without another word, a flash of light surrounded Hale. The next instant, he was back on the bridge of the Titan's wrath. The crew looked up in shock as he reappeared, materializing in a swirl of energy. "Sir!" "You just—" Lyra began. "I know," Hale said. "Listen up, everyone. The Council's putting us through some kind of test. No idea what it'll be, but it's not over yet. Stay sharp." Before anyone could respond, the lights dimmed. A deep vibration ran through the ship. Alarms flickered on. "Power surge!" Oren shouted. "Something's hacking into our systems. Can you block it?" "I'm trying. Wait, it's not an attack. It's a simulation!" The stars outside the window changed. One moment they were orbiting the Citadel. The next, they were in a completely different part of space. A dead planet loomed below, gray and lifeless. "What the hell?" Hale muttered. A mechanical voice echoed through the bridge, cold and ancient. "Trial 1. The choice of mercy." A blip appeared on the radar, 2 ships, both damaged, both human design. The crew stared. "Those are old Earth warships," Lyra said, voice trembling. "Models from the Second Martian conflict, 2 centuries ago." "They're sending us back through our own history," Hale realized. "They want to see what we do," the voice spoke again. "One ship carries civilians fleeing war. The other carries soldiers armed but wounded. You may only save one." The bridge fell silent. Lyra looked at Hale, her eyes wide. "Sir, I know," he said quietly. "They want to see what kind of people we are." Oren spoke up, his tone grim. "If we save the soldiers, we preserve defense and order. If we save the civilians, we show compassion, but we lose protection." The choice tore through the room like fire. The crew looked to Hale. "Sir," Lyra whispered. "What do we do?" Hale stared at the flickering image of the 2 ships. Civilians on one, soldiers on the other, both calling for help, both doomed without them. Finally, he said, "Prepare rescue pods. Split the teams." "We save both," Lyra blinked. "But they said—" "I don't care what they said," Hale snapped. "We're human. We don't abandon anyone." The crew moved quickly. Pods launched from the Titan's wrath, racing toward both ships. Fire burned in the void, but they managed to pull survivors from each vessel before the simulation collapsed. The stars twisted again. The voice returned. "Trial 1 complete. Result: defiance, compassion, unorthodox." Then the light changed. The ship was suddenly in another place, a battlefield orbiting a burning world. Dozens of alien ships fought above the atmosphere. Explosions filled the black sky. Trial 2. The test of power. Hale clenched his fists. "This just keeps getting better." Oren checked the sensors. "Sir, those ships down there, they're the Karth Dominion." "But the others, they're Varex." The bridge filled with tension. The simulation had placed them in the middle of an interstellar war. The mechanical voice spoke again. "You have the power to destroy the enemy fleet, but doing so will annihilate the planet below. What will you choose?" The crew froze. On screen, the battle raged. Dozens of ships locked in deadly combat above a world already cracked by fire. "Sir," Lyra said softly, "if we fire, we win, but we kill everyone down there." "And if we don't," Oren added, "the Dominion wins and they'll kill them anyway." Hale stared at the burning world. Sweat beaded on his forehead. "Target the fleet only," he said. "No planetary shots." "Precision fire! Sir, that'll take longer. Then make it count!" The Titan's wrath roared to life, guns blazing. Plasma cannons tore through the Karth ships one by one. The hull shook under counterfire. Sparks rained from the ceiling, shields failing. Orin shouted, "Hold them!" Hale barked. One by one, the Dominion ships exploded into dust. The Titan's wrath burned, but it did not break. When the last enemy ship fell, the simulation froze again. The burning planet turned still. Trial 2 complete. Result, controlled aggression. Strategic morality. Then the ship returned to the chamber before the council. The glowing beings hovered silently. The lead counselor spoke. "You defy instruction. You reject limits. And yet, you show mercy where others would destroy. Fascinating." Hale met their gaze. "You wanted to know what humanity is? That's it. We fight when we must, but we don't stop being human," the counselors whispered among themselves, their light flickering in strange patterns. Finally, the leader said, "One trial remains. The most difficult of all, the trial of truth." The floor trembled. Light swallowed the Titan's wrath. And in the next moment, Captain Hale found himself standing face to face with something that wasn't alien or human, but both. A mirror image of himself. Cold-eyed and smiling, the final test had begun. Captain Hale stared at the figure standing before him. It looked exactly like him. Same height, same scars, same uniform, but its eyes glowed faintly silver and its smile was sharp, almost cruel. Around them stretched a white void, endless and silent. There was no ship, no crew, no stars, just the two of them. Trial 3, the trial of truth, the mechanical voice said, echoing in the emptiness. Hale stepped forward cautiously. "What is this?" The duplicate tilted its head. "This captain is you," it said in his own voice, smooth and cold. "The part of you that the council wants to see. The part you hide from your crew. I don't hide anything." The other Hale laughed. "Don't lie to yourself. You're angry. You're afraid. You think humanity deserves the stars, but deep down, you're terrified of what it'll become when it gets them." Hale clenched his fists. "We fight for survival." "There's nothing wrong with that." The duplicate began to circle him slowly. "Survival, yes. But tell me, how many did you sacrifice to keep that ship flying? How many decisions have you made that cost lives? Every captain makes hard choices." "Then admit it," the other said, his tone sharp as glass. "You don't care about peace. You care about control, about proving that humanity is strong enough to rule, not coexist." Hale's voice dropped. "You're wrong." The other Hale stopped, smiling faintly. "Then show me." A flash of light, and suddenly they were on the Titan's Wrath's bridge. But it wasn't the real one. This version was twisted, warped. The crew stood frozen like statues. Red alarms flashed endlessly, and outside the windows, space burned. The other Hale sat in the captain's chair. "Imagine this," he said softly. "The council refuses to let humanity join. They call your people dangerous, unworthy. What do you do?" "I'd try to reason." The double cut him off with a sneer. "No, you wouldn't. You'd fight. You'd unleash the Titan's cannons, burn their fleets, and take your place by force. Because that's what humanity does. It conquers." "Stop," Hale growled. The copy rose. "You built weapons to protect your species, but every weapon is a promise. A promise that someday you'll use it." Hale's breath came faster. "You're not me." "I'm exactly you," the copy whispered. "The version that admits the truth. Humanity doesn't want peace. It wants power." A blinding flash filled the bridge. Suddenly, Hale was holding a blaster pistol in his hand, aimed straight at his double. "Go ahead," the other said. "Prove me wrong." "Show them you're better." Hale's finger hovered on the trigger. Every muscle in his body tensed. He could feel the council watching, unseen, judging. Then he lowered the weapon. "No," he said quietly. "You're wrong about me, about us. Humanity isn't perfect, but we learn. We fight because we must, not because we want to. And that makes us worth saving." The copy's smile faded. Slowly it nodded. Perhaps that's the truth they needed. Then, with a sound like shattering glass, it dissolved into light. The white void vanished, replaced by the council chamber once more. Hale stood alone in the center, the light of the great being surrounding him. The lead counselor spoke, voice calm and distant. You have faced your reflection and refused corruption. You have chosen compassion over conquest. You have shown defiance yet wisdom. The trial of truth is complete. Hale exhaled, shoulders trembling slightly. So what now? Do you judge us? Do you decide whether we live or die? The counselor's form shimmered, its light softer now. Judgment is not the goal, Captain. Understanding is. Humanity has proven that despite its flaws, it still carries hope. The Velari commander stepped forward, his cold eyes unreadable. The council will deliberate. Until then, you and your ship will remain here under observation. Hale's jaw tightened. You mean we're prisoners? If you wish to call it that, the commander said. Then the council's light dimmed. Hale found himself back aboard the Titan's Wrath. His crew looked around in confusion. They had no memory of the trials, only flashes of strange visions. Sir, Lyra asked softly, what happened? Did we pass? Hale stared out at the citadel beyond the viewport, its massive towers glowing like suns, alien fleets drifting in perfect harmony. Somewhere out there, the fate of his people was being discussed. He didn't know if they would be accepted into the stars, or erased from them. Maybe, he said finally. But I don't think this is over. Outside, the void shimmered. Far beyond the citadel, deep in the shadows of uncharted space, a fleet stirred. The Karth Dominion, rising again. And this time, they weren't coming for peace. The Council's test had ended. But the real trial, the one for the survival of humanity itself, was about to begin. The Titan's Wrath drifted in orbit above the shining citadel, surrounded by fleets of alien ships that glowed like living constellations. The ship's hull was repaired with alien materials, sleek silver plates merging with its old human armor, a symbol of both mercy and captivity. Captain Hale stood on the bridge, staring out at the endless light. They're still watching us, he said quietly. Lyra nodded, glancing at the sensor screen. Always. Every time we move, every time we breathe. The Council's drones are everywhere. Good, Hale replied. At least it means they haven't decided to kill us yet. Below decks, the crew was restless. Weeks had passed since the trial of truth. The Council had promised deliberation, but no answers came. The Titan's Wrath floated in a cage of light waiting for judgment. Then, one day, everything changed. Captain, Oren shouted from the sensor console. I've got something. Massive energy spike near the outer rim of the Citadel system. Massive energy spike near the outer rim of the Citadel system. Hale's head snapped around. Show me. The main display lit up with readings. Radiation levels off the charts, gravitational ripples spreading across the system. A dark shape was forming beyond the nearest moon. That's not a natural phenomenon, Lyra said, her voice shaking. It wasn't. Out of the distortion emerged ships, vast, black, and terrible. The Karth Dominion Oren's face went pale. There must be hundreds of them, sir. The comm crackled to life, the alien commander's voice cutting through static. Council vessels are engaging the enemy. Human ship, hold position. But Hale wasn't listening. The Dominion's fleet was firing directly into the Citadel's defensive grid. Beams of crimson light tearing through shields that had stood for centuries. The Council's fleets were powerful, but the attack was overwhelming. They knew we were here, Hale muttered. They waited until the Council was focused on us. Lyra turned. Sir, what do we do? He looked around the bridge, at his crew, exhausted but ready, at the scars still marking the ship from their last battle. Then he spoke. We're not sitting this one out. We came here because we were tested. Now we fight for real. Captain, the Council ordered us to stand down, Oren reminded him. Yeah, Hale said. But I don't take orders from gods. The engines of the Titan's Wrath roared to life, blue fire bursting from its thrusters. The massive ship turned toward the battle. Alien sensors locked on, confused. A human vessel breaking formation in the heart of the Citadel. Target the lead Karth ship, Hale ordered. Load plasma cannons and keep the railguns hot. The ship's weapons powered up, humming like thunder. Firing solution locked, Lyra said. Then let's remind them what humanity's made of. The Titan's Wrath opened fire. Streams of plasma and kinetic rounds shot across the void, tearing through a Karth battleship's flank. The explosion was blinding. The Velari fleet hesitated for a moment, and then joined in. The Citadel's defenders surged forward, emboldened by the human warship's charge. For the first time in history, humanity fought side by side with alien civilizations. Multiple hostiles incoming. Oren shouted, "Keep firing!" Hale barked, "Divert all power to forward shields." The hull shook violently. One of the Dominion's plasma bolts smashed into their port side, throwing sparks across the bridge. "Shield at 40%. Lyra yelled, "Hold it!" Hale gripped the command rail. His mind was clear, no fear, only focus. The battle outside was chaos, explosions blooming across the Citadel's horizon, ships tearing apart like paper. Then the Varex medical capsule shimmered to life in the medbay. The alien inside, the one they had rescued, awoke with a gasp of light. Its eyes burned with sudden clarity. "Captain Hale," it said through the comm, "the Dominion has found the core. If they breach it, the Citadel will fall. You must reach the heart?" "The heart?" Hale repeated. "The power source that sustains this system," the alien explained. "Only your ship's hybrid reactor can stabilize it if it's damaged. You must hurry." Hale didn't hesitate. "Set course for the Citadel core," he ordered. The Titan's wrath dove through the battle, dodging beams of light and bursts of fire. Massive alien ships exploded around them. The crew fought to keep the ship steady. "Sir, the Dominion is deploying boarding pods," Oren shouted. "They're coming straight for us." "Seal the bulkheads," Hale yelled. "Marines to the hangar!" Metal screamed as pods slammed into the hull. Hatches burst open, and Karth soldiers, armored insectoid creatures with burning red eyes, poured into the corridors. Gunfire erupted. The ship shook with every explosion. Human Marines fought fiercely, using every inch of the ship to hold the line. Lyra's voice crackled through the comm. "Captain, they've breached engineering!" Hale grabbed a rifle from the emergency rack and ran. "Hold the bridge, Oren. Don't let them take it." He raced through smoke-filled corridors, meeting fire and chaos at every turn. The Karth moved like shadows, but the humans were relentless. When he reached engineering, the door was already half blown open. Inside, the alien Varex floated near the reactor, energy swirling around it. "You came," the alien said weakly. "Good. Help me connect your ship's core to the Citadel's relay. We can save them, all of them." Hale didn't question it. He slammed his hand onto the control panel, rerouting all remaining power to the reactor. The Titan's wrath began to hum, its engines flaring brighter than ever before. "Captain!" Oren shouted over comms. "The power readings, they're off the scale." "I know," Hale yelled. "Just keep them off us." The reactor burst into brilliant light. Outside, the Titan's wrath released a wave of energy that swept through the battlefield, a pulse that shattered the Dominion's control ships and overloaded their weapons. One by one, the enemy vessels fell silent. The battle was over. But as the Citadel steadied, alarms blared across the Titan's wrath. Smoke poured from the reactor room. Lyra's voice came through, choked with static. "Sir, the reactor's unstable. It's going critical." Hale looked at the glowing core. Wild, unstable, alive. The Varex's voice was calm. "You saved them, Captain. Now you must save yourselves." The ship trembled violently. Hale grabbed the comm. "All hands, prepare for emergency warp." Outside, the Citadel glowed once more, stronger than before. And in the heart of the chaos, the Titan's wrath vanished into a burst of white light, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed. When the light faded, the stars were silent, and humanity's mightiest ship was gone. The void was silent once more. No trace of the Titan's wrath remained where it had vanished, only the faint echo of the energy wave that had saved the Citadel. In the aftermath of the battle, the surviving fleets drifted among wreckage that glimmered like silver dust. The Karth Dominion was broken, scattered into the darkness, but the cost had been heavy. Inside the Citadel, the Council of Worlds gathered again. Their great chamber was dim, filled with the quiet hum of damaged systems. The lead counselor's voice resonated softly. "The human ship is gone. Yet its sacrifice preserved the balance. The question remains, does this species deserve a place among the stars?" The Valari commander stepped forward, his armor scarred from battle. They fought when others fled. They bled for worlds not their own. If that is not worthy, what is? Another counselor, a being of light and energy, flickered uncertainly. But they defied our orders. They acted without permission. The Varex representative, restored to strength, floated before them. Yes, it said quietly. And that is precisely why they matter. The humans do not wait for permission to do what is right. They act when others hesitate. Their courage is imperfect, but pure. The chamber was silent for a long time. Then the lead counselor spoke again. Then let it be known. The humans have passed the trial of contact. Their world shall be invited into the accord. The species of Earth are no longer alone. Far away, light years beyond the Council's reach, the Titan's wrath drifted in an unknown region of space. The emergency warp had saved the ship, but thrown it across the stars into uncharted territory. The great vessel was scarred, half its systems dead, yet somehow still alive. Captain Hale awoke on the bridge, surrounded by the faint glow of emergency lights. "Report!" he croaked, voice rough. Lyra Chen stirred at her console, covered in dust and blood. "We made it out, sir, but I don't know where we are. No signals. No stars I recognize." Oren checked the nav computer. "Long-range sensors are down, but it looks like we're outside the mapped regions of the Council's space, way beyond the border." Hale took a deep breath, staring out at the endless unknown. The stars here were strange, brighter, older. Some glowed red, others blue-white, and in the distance a nebula shimmered like fire. "Any life signs nearby?" he asked. Lyra scanned. "Faint traces. Something. Big, stationary." "Put it on screen." The image appeared, a massive structure, half buried in the light of a dying star. It was ancient, older than anything the Council had ever built. Its shape was familiar, a great ring, cracked and silent. Hale's pulse quickened. "That looks like the same kind of gateway we saw before, but bigger." Oren frowned. "Could it be another one of the Council's gates?" Lyra shook her head. "No, different energy signature. It's dormant." The captain stared at it for a long time. "Set a course. Let's take a closer look." The Titan's wrath moved slowly toward the silent ring. The stars around it pulsed faintly, as if alive. Inside the bridge, the crew worked in tired silence, repairing systems as they went. When they approached the structure, a deep vibration filled the air, not mechanical, but alive, like the heartbeat of something enormous. The lights flickered. "Sir," Lyra whispered, "it's waking up." A wave of energy rippled across space. The ring began to glow from within, golden lines spreading across its surface. Symbols appeared, not in the Varex or Valari script, but something entirely different. "Get us clear!" Oren shouted. "Negative," Hale said quietly. "Hold position." The bridge filled with a low, resonant hum. The symbols on the ring shifted, and a voice echoed across the comm, soft and ancient. "Human vessel, you have reached the edge of the known. Beyond lies the origin of the stars. You are not the first to find this place, but you may be the last." The crew froze. "Who are you?" Hale demanded. "I am the architect," the voice said. "Creator of the first gates. The one who seeded the paths between worlds. The Council, you know, was built upon our ruins." The alien voice faded into static. "Was built upon our ruins." The alien voice faded into static. Hale's heart pounded. "Get the recorders running." Every second of this, the ship drifted closer. In the ring's reflection, Hale saw the Titan's wrath, damaged but defiant. Humanity's first true explorer, carrying the scars of war and the promise of survival. "Captain," Lyra said softly, "if this is real, then everything we've seen, the Council, the Dominion, it's just one piece of something bigger." Hale nodded slowly. "Then maybe our real mission starts now." He turned toward the viewport, the vast ring filling the stars ahead. "Set course inside the gate," he said. "Let's see what waits beyond." The engines flared to life. The Titan's wrath moved forward, vanishing into the glowing light. Behind them, the stars shimmered. And for the first time in galactic history, humanity stepped beyond the reach of every known civilization. And somewhere, Deep within that brilliant unknown, the universe itself seemed to whisper, "Humanity has arrived."